Yo, you started it without the opening.
Oh,
it's all right. We here now. You can't, man.
Man, I don't even know how to turn that thing. Well, throw it on. Let's go.
Well, I mean, hold on. We here now. We're gonna do the opening in a few minutes. In about a minute or two, we're gonna do the opening. Because
I mean,
how'd that even happen?
Yeah, I'm having a glass of eggnog, man.
How you get eggnog? They selling eggnog up there already?
Yeah.
Or you get homemade eggnog. How'd you get it? How'd you get it? Oh, yo, that's crazy, man.
It was in the store. Actually, when I was just in Atlanta, they had it in Atlanta in the store.
Should have said you made it, man.
Okay. I made it.
Oh. You made it, man? You made the eggnog. Yeah, you made the eggnog.
Yep. I'm following instructions. Mike told me to say I made it. I made it.
All right, what do you put in it, man?
Yeah, what'd you put in the eggnog?
I put in a little bit of egg and a little bit of nog. And yeah. I put some egg in it. I put some nog in it and some cinnamon.
Yo,
eggnog.
All right, let me see. Oh wait a minute. I think I can. All right, I think I got it. Oh yeah, Charles. All right, I'm gonna share this to your page, man. It does say you're able to do that.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. You know, people probably there's like some people watching. Like, what are they doing?
I see. All right. It's about time for the intro, man.
But guess what? Can't post comments to some destinations. Learn more. That's what it's saying. So let's do the intro and we'll come back.
All right.
We're not having technical issues. We're just having issues.
We're getting situated. Charlotte is on. Charlotte, check out our intro.
Saw her at the wedding this weekend. So hold on one second. Let me let's bring them in.
That's crazy when you think about how many years you haven't seen people.
All right. One time. What, should I play it twice?
Yeah, I usually like when it goes a couple times there.
That's true. That's true. Well, let's do it again. One more time.
What's going on? Charles, you gotta stay in frame, man.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Oh, you just sit in the middle.
Nah, because it's the I told you I ain't on my computer, so trying to line up the camera.
Oh man,
for the cell phone.
I'm gonna tell you, like whichever way you're moving.
All right, there we go.
There you
go.
I knew I'll figure it out. because you're going off.
Maybe I'll just turn my head. Okay?
We back in here, back on here again.
Now, what was you schooling us to a few minutes ago, man, about New York today?
Nah, I was saying that today they mandated the vaccine for all New York City employees. You know, so yeah, and they wasn't playing. You got to have it by next Friday, or you're not terminated. You're placed on suspension without pay. So you're not. So if you refuse to do it, you're not technically losing your job, even though, I mean, you're suspended without pay. So, I mean, that's like losing it. But I don't know how long, once you're suspended, I don't know how many days suspension that you have to get it. But yeah, and they gave the correction officers have to December 1st, but everybody else has to next Friday.
Oh wait, I had to say a quick what's up to Daenerys. I see you on there. What's up, Daenerys? All right, dude.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw De Blasio talking about that. It's it's funny because he mentioned, so they handle it the same way they did a lot of the medical staff and like the teacher stuff. Like they said, nobody's being fired. We're not saying you quit. We're going to put you on suspension, right? So, and they said there's about 40. I think they said about 46,000 people that this currently impacts. And they kind of say it as a matter of fact. It's right, like we're gonna just indefinitely like say not to report to work, and with the hopes of what I don't like. That's what I don't like. So with the city too, is they also giving them a financial incentive of $500. Yeah, I heard about that. So it's like, I don't think anybody, this is like, I think it's like stuff falls on deaf ears. Like, I don't think anybody is not taking the vaccine over like $500. Now, if $500 is it's a good amount of money in general and good to some, but like for people who are saying like, I'm not going to take it because I'm concerned with my health, like, I don't know how many people get sold on that for $500. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah. I mean, at my job, they were talking about it. I don't know what it is either. Like, I don't know how much of an incentive, but I think the city I think they just rationalized that a lot of people will jump on the 500 because, especially if they aren't going to take a stance and allow themselves to get suspended. And I think people will jump on it, but I think the city's also rationalized that, like, if all of these people really do take suspensions, then it's going to become more costly for them to start paying all that overtime, to make up for some of these services, so. And then, what another part of it I think it is? I think there's a certain percentage that they hope really don't get it so that they can, like, force some of these people out, and especially if you force them out with no pay and no benefits, like they talking about, I was seeing like in Chicago, they talking about if those police officers resign or quit over the vaccine, like they losing their retirement benefits and everything. You know what I'm saying? So
do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a plan and ultimately to hope that there's a certain percentage that, like really stand on it so that they can like get rid of that type, get rid of a certain level of payroll.
One of my homies this summer, I'm not gonna say he's like a conspiracy theorist, but he's definitely along the lines of, the earth is going like to hell in a handbasket. But what he said, and he said it, and I was like, I never thought about that. He said, man, they're going to mess around and just bankrupt this whole thing. I was like, okay. Because it just was so left field for me. He was like, you watch. He said, they're going to mess around and they're going to bankrupt this whole thing. He was like, it's a reset that people are not paying attention to. And he was like, you got to think about it from the angle of bankrupting. It doesn't mean you got to break everybody. You just have to break a decent amount of the percentages to just disrupt things in a manner that will be hard to come back from. So when you say that, it's not saying that that's what he said, but that's the second time I've heard something of that format. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that type of thing.
Get rid of them. Yeah, like I'm gonna use this as an opportunity because they already require it. We got 3 new dudes at my job. All 3 of them were required to be vaccinated to even take the job. But I think like I think part of this is like, yeah, I hope a certain percentage of them don't get it, so that they lose their job, and I don't you know. I don't know, man.
Well,
it's just
no, I don't know, man.
eh.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm to the point now where it's almost like I just feel like it's just time to just shut up. That's just how I feel. It's like there's no reason to debate, argue. Like you said a while ago, you know what I'm saying? You know, make your decisions. I don't want to say make your decisions and live with it, because I don't feel like people are making decisions in their right mind. I feel like people are being coerced. I feel like people are being paid. I feel like, you know, if you offering $500 to people, like why? You know what I'm saying? Like what is going on with this thing that now is, you know, they had the lotteries and all this other stuff. Like, I don't know. To me, it's just like a why.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It just seems more like whatever was supposed to happen did not happen, and all of the desperate attempts have failed. So now it's like, yo, like we are going to take your livelihood. But wasn't the numbers going down like a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
No, they are going down. But
going down.
But then then the next question would be the numbers. They just reported in New York that they staying under the 3% infection rate, and like I think 28 people died in the whole state. So if people are moving about more, you know, I know even like I've seen traveling, like, you know, I've been on flights a few times this month. Flights are full to capacity. Airport is filled to capacity. Now, people did have their mask on in the airport, but there was absolutely no social distancing, right? Every flight I've been on in the month of October, all 100% full. You know, sitting next to strangers, everything. And, you know, so the social distancing aspect is out of the window. Some of the mask wearing is out of the window. So if the numbers are going down, huh?
But the numbers are going down.
Exactly. So what do you attribute that to? They're attributing it to that, you know, the reality is like over more than half the people are vaccinated. So if one group is not attributing it to the vaccine and one group is attributing the vaccine, so if our behavior has changed in the fact that we're intermingling more, we're no longer socially distances, a lot of people aren't wearing their masks, but the numbers are still going down, then what are you attributing that to, if not the vaccines helping? What are you attributing that to?
I don't know, but somebody I know, you know, they got the shot like a few weeks ago, and they haven't been able to work since. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know somebody took the booster shot that said like it got them fucked up.
No, like they are messed up to the point where they can't work.
Yeah.
And this is like 2, 3, 4. For me personally, this is numerous people that I know that was forced. Now, mind you, they did not want to take the shot, but they did it because, you know, they were forced to. And ultimately, they're sort of like, boom. So some people are like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to choose my health over that job or that career. But some people don't have those options, you know. But I don't know if the numbers are going down. You mentioned behavior, you know, maybe it's a combination of all those things. Maybe it's a combination of the shot. Maybe it's a combination of the behavior. Maybe it's maybe the virus is not mutating in the way that they thought. But I know that they just mentioned another one that's supposed to be like 80 times more deadly.
Gamma.
That might it is either that or, man, it's so many names, dude. It's almost like every time the storm comes, here comes the new storm, and they got a new name. You know, I don't know. You know, Steve said something I want to really just quickly read really quick. He says, "Sup, y'all. So why does Kyrie get to keep getting paid? Come on, enough. All teachers and police, etc., in my view, benefit themselves and community to be vaccinated. So if they choose not to get vaccinated, then see you."
Deb, before you go to the next topic, I just want to say one quick thing about what you just mentioned before about the virus becoming more deadly. I don't think that it was declared that, the consensus was it's more deadly. It's that the amount that it not replicates. What the hell does the virus do? That it changes or whatever, that it changes. Mutates.
Yeah.
The mutation rate is 80 times worse. So with that, it becomes
not this
80
one.
times.
No, they literally said this one is 80 times more deadly. And at the same time, when they were working on this one in the Wuhan, what is it, Wuhan? Laboratory, they said they were working on this one too. Whatever these documents are, there was more than one strand they were working on. You know, so basically, in a nutshell, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. All these boosters and all of this efficacy and all this other stuff, you know, now they're coming out with the shot. Now, you know, they want like 5 to 11-year-olds taking all this other stuff. And, you know, nobody's been able to really, you know, for Steven, for instance, you know, I would ask him, you know, just based on his opinion that everybody needs to get vaccinated, which is his opinion. Like, I have no problem with it. But would he classify this vaccination as the perfect shot for everyone? Because now it has completely went not only from having the choice or the variables or the options to the behaviors that we knew were working to actually lower the rates, to now, like, no matter who you are, no matter what your health condition, no matter what your religious affiliation, no matter what you believe, everybody take the shot because it's the absolute best thing for humanity. So, yeah. But Steve, he brought up Kyrie Irving. By what I learned, and I could be wrong, it's not the NBA that's doing it. Maybe you said that. Was it you, Charles? Because I know I read it, but it's not the NBA, but it's actually like New York is the ones that are like, if you're not vaccinated, you can't play. But they keep going to Kyrie, but there's a lot of other players that are not vaccinated. I personally just feel as though, you know, I ain't gonna say a skin color.
Yeah, I mean, it's some other players that aren't vaccinated, but they're all like, some of them are playing in cities where there's no requirement though.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure, let's say you were in North Carolina, Charlotte, and there's no vaccination requirements. You're gonna miss the one game against the Knicks or the one game against the Nets. Kyrie talking about, I think, it's definitely because he's a superstar in the biggest market in the world, basically. But you also talking about you're missing half of your team's games. Like, and so you're talking about a superstar missing half of the team's game because of this versus a player on some other team who's not a superstar like Irving and who's only going to miss maybe 1 or 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie is going to miss more than half the games because he's going to miss every home game in Brooklyn. He's going to miss every visiting game when they go to Madison Square Garden, and he's going to miss the trip out to Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, I think, why it's more because Kyrie missing, not just because he's more of a superstar, but because of the sheer amount he's going to miss also is going to have a bigger impact. And the other side of it from the business perspective is they literally built this team around him, Garnett, and Harden to win a championship. And now they're looking at it like, damn, this is kind of messing it up. Not saying the championship is more important than his personal opinion or health, but I'm saying that's why, understandably, the focus is more on Kyrie than just any old other player. You know what I'm saying? Now you let it be like if it was a Steph Curry and you talking about, you're gonna miss half of the games, or LeBron James, you're gonna miss half of the games in LA because you're not gonna get vaccinated. It would be a big story. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, really quick, if one of you guys want to address what Maddie wrote, you know,
I saw that. I was going to mention that.
Also, Steve said Kyrie's a knucklehead. I don't think he's a knucklehead. I think he made a choice. That's something that, that's something that some of us historically, we didn't have choices. So now we're in a position where we're able to make a choice. We want to be able to keep that or keep that liberty. But that's just, just my angle, man. Don't mind me. I'm sorry. What were you about to say?
To Maddie's point, I think they don't discuss it like this directly, but I think it's so. One thing is true, and it's a given if you look into the information on it. Throughout the length of the pandemic, they have requirements that stipulated, and this was given to medical staff in the hospitals, that if you passed away with and this is when he says the stats, I'm going to refer to the death toll stats, I guess. So if a person passed away with COVID and a comorbidity, any other thing, whether it was a heart condition, stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, something like that, if they passed away at the same time when they took a COVID test and showed up positive, then they were instructed to list that as a COVID death. That undoubtedly has to have had skewed the numbers tremendously, right? Because there's no clear indication or no clear, I don't know what you would call it, as to what the person passed to. Since as long as it was kind of determined that COVID contributed to it, and to some degree, it was claimed a COVID death. And so,
now let me ask you something, though, Mike. Mm-hmm. Is that something the medical community? Because my response to that would be: is that something that the medical?
You got to come back to the.
I don't know. Is that something that the medical community does? I mean, I'm just saying, for instance, like a lot of people that had AIDS died from pneumonia, but they still contributed. They still considered it was an AIDS-related death. So I'm not saying that you're wrong about that. I'm saying that is that because it kind of becomes conspiratorial in a way where it's like this is something unheard of in the medical community. Like people have all type of ailments and other things contributed to that. Like I said, in one case, a lot of people was dying from pneumonia with AIDS, but they were still calling it AIDS, and that didn't strike as a conspiracy. So, or are we going to believe that everybody with comorbidities just decided to die in the last 2 years?
Right. So I think it's a little. It's a little. So I think the fact you do have a case for that with AIDS, but I think it's so much more broad, I guess, with COVID, because
it's a lot more deaths.
Well, it's a lot we just don't know.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what the death count is with AIDS, for instance.
And we just don't know.
If somebody had a heart attack, if somebody had I don't know, like if you had AIDS and you were down to like 90 pounds because you weren't eating or something like that, and then I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, to be honest.
I mean, I think that during that era, everybody that had AIDS in their body and they died, they contributed to the AIDS. So I'm saying, I don't think that this is like the first time we've seen the medical community do that.
Yeah, but I mean, again, when he asked about the numbers actually being a little skewed, whatever, we've all already agreed that the testing at some point went out the window. The testing went out the window. So once people started getting vaccinated, the testing went out the window. So my simple question was, how do we know who has what, when, where, or why? Then we had another question, which was, how do they test for the Delta variant? How do they test for COVID-19? And now they have all these new variants. How do they test for them? So do I believe the numbers are skewed? I don't think we have an accurate number. So so if that means that they're skewed, so be it. I don't think we have an accurate number. I don't see how we can have an accurate number. I mean, right now they're about to do away with more testing, and they just want it get the vaccination or not. But vaccinated people are just as sick as anyone else. And on top of that, as far as the Delta variant, the CDC.
Yeah, but I don't think that's true, though. I don't think that vaccinated people are just as sick.
Let me finish my point. We don't know what's true or false. What we know is that vaccinated people are getting breakthroughs, right? That's what we know, right? breakthroughs. And now what I know for a fact is it was either Fauci or one of them went on to say that the same thing that's replicating in the nose of unvaccinated people is replicating at the same rate as vaccinated people. So at the end of
For
the
a
day,
shorter period of time, though.
shorter, longer, these things were not supposed to happen. At the end
give
of
me
the
one
day,
quick split second. Part of this part. Give me 1 second.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Oh, he's stepping off for a second.
I'm trying to work out the person who's going to join us. So give me 1 second.
No problem. At the end of the day, everybody was told initially, you get this shot, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to open up. Come on back out. Am I wrong? Well, I don't want to put you on the spot like the only person to answer, but chronologically, every single thing that was said went out the window. Every single thing that was said has went out the window. And it's cool in the sense where,
as far as what though?
Oh, just as far as what they said was going to happen, it didn't happen.
No, they said that. No, I'm saying they said that if you get vaccinated, that you stand a less likely chance of being hospitalized or dying from COVID, and the numbers that have come out from the hospitals and stuff support that. That the average person in the hospital is unvaccinated, and that the average person dying is unvaccinated. Not the only people. Now there's a difference. Not the only people who are dying or in the hospital are unvaccinated, but the higher percentage. I didn't hear them ever say that the vaccine cured everything. I never heard that.
No. I never mentioned cure. What I'm saying to you is when they first talked about this shot, the vaccination, it wasn't even classified as a vaccination. It was classified as an emergency use management. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm starting to sort of hear that it's still somewhat under that guise. I don't really know. I haven't, like I said, I'm sick of sitting there trying to read all of this stuff and even follow it to some degrees. I'm just going to try to stay safe, keep my distance, try to stay aware of what needs to be understood. But all of that, the more in-depth stuff, it is what it is because people have made their decisions. But when they first announced this thing, it was like, yo, you get the shot. You know, Biden was like, yo, we're going to be able to open things up. People will be able to take off their masks and all this other stuff. All of that was wrong. No one should have took off their masks. On top of that, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't want to speak without having a reference point, but something in my memory reminds me that if you took this shot, basically COVID-19 as we knew it was not supposed to happen in the rate that it's happening at all. And in these breakthrough cases was supposed to be very, very rare, if I'm not mistaken. But now we're seeing that we're having breakthrough cases all over the place. And that's why I keep asking people to pay attention to what's going on in Israel in particular, because they're like super vaccinated. They are like highly vaccinated. I think probably the most vaccinated place on this earth, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Italy, one of those two. And they're having all of these breakout cases, but what are they going to blame it on? Are they still blaming it on the unvaccinated? Because that's been the myth. And then also vaccinated people are dying of COVID. Yeah. They are dying.
I mean, I agree with you as far as the mask, but I mean, they didn't really tell everybody they could take their mask off. They told vaccinated people they could take their mask off. But what happened is everybody took their mask off. So so they didn't come out and say, yo, America, you don't have to wear your mask no more. And they said, even the signs on the door, at least here in New York, it said that pursuant to this and that, if you are vaccinated, you no longer have to wear the mask like going into the grocery store. But there was no checks and balances. Nobody was asking your vaccination status. So like they didn't tell the world that forget the world for a minute. They didn't tell Americans to take their mask off. They said if you were vaccinated. But once that came out and nobody was checking, at least I can say here in New York City, yo, a lot of people wasn't wearing their masks over the summer and they wasn't social distancing, and that's just the reality. I go in the grocery store now. Half the grocery store doesn't have a mask on. I don't stop and ask people, are they vaccinated? I'm vaccinated and I wear my mask in the store, even though I don't think I have to by law or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't ask nobody their status. Whatever you decide to do is what you decide to do. But I know that when I'm stepping in stores, everybody don't have no mask on. I'm in New York City every day, kid. Everybody don't have their mask on. It's a lot of people that wear their masks. I will say that. Boom. But I'm gonna tell you something more personal. I just came back from Jamaica. It was 52 of us that went on the trip. 8 of the 52 were not vaccinated. 4 of those 8 caught COVID. Now, I don't know if vaccine or whatever. I'm just saying that's personal data. That ain't CDC numbers. That ain't FDA numbers. That's something I just did. I went and spent 5 days in Jamaica.
With those 52 people that y'all all went on the trip, all 52 of y'all were wearing masks?
Not really. But not, I mean, in certain situations, not really amongst the group, because you had to take a COVID test before you got there. You know, now there was like on the resort, there was like parties and different other things where people did kind of mixing with other people had their masks. But when we were sitting at dinner, now all 52 of us didn't always sit at dinner together. But when we were sitting, like, you know, at tables and stuff, like, you know, I didn't really have my mask on around the people because I felt 2 things. I felt like I should be good. I'm vaccinated, and I felt good because I know that at some point they were negative before they came on the trip because it was a requirement, you know, and I tested. Me personally, I had to test to get back to America. So I tested on that Sunday. And then when I started, but I left before everybody. I left that Monday. Most people left the Tuesday. So, but then on Tuesday, when I found out people tested positive, I went and took another COVID test that Thursday, even though I had just took one Sunday, and it was negative again. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know what that means or whatever. I'm just saying that's a personal number that I don't believe is skewed, because I didn't get that number from the FDA. I didn't get it from the CDC, and the people were you know, who caught it. They weren't trying to hide it. They was trying to tell the group like, yo, this is what I got. But everyone that caught COVID on that trip was unvaccinated.
And all 52 of you at this point have tested a few more times to make sure that everybody's okay.
For the most part.
Is that a no?
I don't know. I don't know if all 52 exactly, but what I'm saying, I can say a good 40 something, and no one else. No, well, this is what, right? Because we have a personal group, trip group, that no one else has come. Everyone that did, like, let people in the group know. It wasn't like, oh, I feel dirty, I'm not telling nobody. They let everybody in the group know. This is how we knew to go get tested again. And then it started with 2 people, then another 2 people. And then everybody else was like, yo, I'm going to get tested. I'm going to get tested. I'm going to get tested. Some people posted like, yo, I'm good. My joint came back negative, this and that. Some people didn't say anything, but no one else has come back in the group to let us know, like, yo, I'm positive. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me say this first off. You know, I pray that they are going to be okay. The other thing that I want to say to you is, you know, that's unfortunate. But the reason I asked if everybody had tested again is because my concern at this point is what I had told y'all about like 2 or 3 months ago. That's now starting to finally get legs. I'm assuming in the media it's getting legs, because really, like CNN and all, I've cut all of that stuff completely off. If it's not like BBC or NPR in the morning, like, I'm done. Like,
you said CNN and everything, you said?
Yeah, I've been done with that for about months now, man. Maybe 5. I'm just done. I'm done with MSNBC. I'm done with all of those, you know. Matter of fact, there was some Fox News that was sent to me, you know, by one of my homies, and I watched it, and it was so funny because I'm like, wow, I'm watching Fox News in the link. But even that, I'm sort of like, time to go. But, you know, I was just asking because that COVID and long COVID, long COVID and vaccinated, that's something that I think everybody needs to pay attention to. So the last question I would have asked was, so those people came back and they tested positive, but it wasn't like they were necessarily like sniffly and sick, or you don't even know all the variables. You just know that this.
No, well, they actually said that they started feeling the original 2 people, right? I don't know what made I don't know the other 2 people's whole story. The original 2 people was like they started feeling like they were sick. And so that made them test. But now here's the funny thing is they tested negative to be able to come back to America, but was feeling sick. So right when they got back to America, they retested and it came up positive. And they was like, but they said they were feeling sick. So, but you know, in America accepts in order to return to America, which is so funny that places don't accept the rapid test. America accepts the rapid test to come back into the country, even though some countries now Jamaica accepts the rapid test also to go to Jamaica, but a lot of countries only accept the PCR test. But America accepts the rapid test to come back. You know, I took a rapid test to come back from Jamaica. I didn't take the PCR test. I took a rapid test on Sunday and I left Monday. You know, now the people, everyone actually, all 52 tested negative in Jamaica to order to be able to board the plane, but a lot of them took it Sunday and then they came back Tuesday. I came back the next day, like I said. Out of 52 of us, only 5 of us came back Monday. All the rest stayed into Tuesday. So I don't know what they did Monday. I don't know what they did Monday night. All I know is that by the time they got back Tuesday, that they said that they were feeling like they were sick. So they went and took other COVID tests once they got back to America that showed that they were positive, but they said they felt sick. That's why they went and did it.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a wedding this weekend. You know, I took my mask off for 3 photos, and that's the most my mask has been off in 2 years around people. 3 pictures, boom, photo, boom, photo, well, maybe 4. And the way I was sort of thinking it had nothing to do with anybody there. It was just when I took the mask off, for once it almost felt like I left my wallet home. You know, it almost felt like I left my cell phone, you know, or, you know, I mean, I don't want to use another analogy, but you'll know where I'm going. It just felt, for me, it felt different. It just felt different. It was really like one of those moments. But I also, for that moment, I wanted to take the picture with these individuals, and I wanted my mask. I wanted to take it off a few times, but the thing is, I believe that if you start getting into habits that you're not accustomed to, they become bad habits. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I took the pictures, whatever. You know what I'm saying? When I hear things like that, it's sort of twofold. One, with 52 people moving around, that's a very large number of people. That's a huge body of people. Somebody getting COVID, that's unfortunate. But again, all of the things that you all were doing, in my opinion, probably contributed to these numbers being where they are. What do I mean by that? The social distancing. You said you all weren't cohorting overall. I mean, you said some people mixed and mingled. I don't know. But that wasn't the overall bottom line. You know, you said you wear your mask. Everybody, when they eat, you know, obviously if you go to a restaurant and eat, you know, it's hard to eat with a mask on. You know what I'm saying? If you go and sit down inside. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that at one time the numbers dropped before we had the shot. That's what I know. That's a fact. And I know how it was done. And I just know that everybody at that time was being encouraged to wear masks. And I just know that it just seems like building blocks where they'll take away 1 or 2 things and then put something else there instead of using all of the different tools that we have that could possibly work to make these things work. I don't know. I wonder how much money these companies are making though. You know,
probably billions.
These pharmaceutical companies, how much money they make? You know?
Yeah, but I mean, they've been making money off this forever, man.
Not like this.
I mean,
not like this.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, I don't really know what. I can't debate that because I don't know what their profit is. I don't know if the COVID vaccine is the most profitable thing that Pfizer ever did or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not even saying
I don't know.
I'm saying it from what we saw worldwide in 2 or 3 different forms of medicine that went out worldwide in a short cluster of time.
Yeah.
We don't have to need any data for that. We can see that. somebody paid for that and somebody got paid for that, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, the numbers have got to be like, I don't know what else is selling other than like, you know, something like Tylenol or whatever. What else they using? Like everybody's using, like in every country around the world is like, what's it like, 200 million just in the U.S. already.
Did y'all see how Joe Rogan got it? Sanjay Gupta, I think his name is. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that?
I didn't hear what you said.
Joe Rogan, you know, he has that podcast. You know, one of my homies sent it to me. I didn't know what it was, and I watched it. And what he did was he sent me what happened on the podcast with Sanjay Gupta, whatever his name is. And on there, like Joe Rogan was saying to homie, like, yo, man, do you realize CNN made it like I was taking like horse tranquilizers and my doctor prescribed a human medicine, but y'all made it like I was taking horse medicine, you know? And he backed Sanjay Gupta up. And it was crazy because when you played the original clip versus what they played on CNN, it was doctored up to make this dude look like, you know, he was out of his mind. So I'm saying if CNN is supposed to, hypothetically, is not this Fox News-ish type thing, and y'all moving like that, almost like when Michael Jackson.
Oh no, they CNN is definitely a Fox News. It's just a different viewpoint. I mean, that's American media right there. Is one side is which way. CNN is Fox News just with the opposite viewpoint. That's it. It's all agenda, opinionated based things that's trying to sway their core audience to believe. But the reality is they ain't really swaying nobody, man. And people, just like Fox News during the Trump era, man, and people already believe like that. It's like the people, to me, it's like the people that you just keep constantly putting the same Facebook thing out there because you need the same 25 people to like basically the same comment because it somehow validates that maybe you're right or whatever. And it's the same thing. Like I look at that. The people that watch CNN believe that way already. CNN ain't really convincing.
But I think you're talking about generally. So I think there's a general like kind of political position they have in it. But the way I kind of see it is almost like they keep you riding the wave on whatever the current topic
ain't no question, but a wave which you already believe, Kate. It's not like
generally, but like the topic can be.
What do you think most Trump supporters was watching? Like generally, since we're saying generally, what do you think they was watching?
Watching like Fox.
Because and why was they watching Fox? Because they believe that
consistent.
way.
I mean, you found it to be consistent with your beliefs. And views. But no, so I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I believe I know because I made a point. To be honest with you, I probably watched during the whole political thing. I probably watched more Fox than I did CNN and other ones, right? Because I always was real curious on like because I knew like when I would watch either one of them, some part of it would always sound like nonsense. So I was like, let me watch them all like equally. And then Fox is usually so much more like over the top, just in the, not they're a little more over the top with certain things. Like their newscasters may be a little more animated with certain things. So I would watch each of them, and I'd be amazed. I'm like, damn, like how can they have the complete opposite point on every topic every day, and like, and it's crazy. And I wasn't even asking how because I know how it would, but it just amazed me. Like this is supposed to be our like standard news, like where we go for information. I think that's why. That's also why people get so caught up with all this, medical stuff, right? Because you mentioned it before, like people are honestly, whether you on the vaccine side or against, like, and when you come to the end of it all, it's like, people do want to be safe for themselves and they want to be, trusted, but the information is like garbage. Like, it's just like, you can't trust. You don't know where to trust. I don't even say the information is garbage, but you don't know what to trust, right? So that's kind of a way.
And that's real. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I definitely respect that it's hard to be trustful of our government historically. Yeah. It's hard to be trustful of the news historically, which is why I always suggest, and this is not saying this can't be manipulated, but let me see what the people who make the vaccine or whatever, let me see what they're saying first before I start listening to what guidelines CDC are saying or what somebody on social media is saying or what some news anchor is saying or whatever. Let me have a starting point to even know what, like, it's like anything. Like, before I start listening to everyone else tell me what Mike said or did, why not, if I have the opportunity, why not speak to Mike first?
Yeah,
You know, and it's
but
just
you
like,
better believe that's gonna be a
it's
bias.
just like what Kyrie Irving said, which I agree with him 100%.
Which is what?
He said, yo, I don't have to. I was watching an interview. He said, I don't have to explain myself. Y'all the ones that are talking to everybody but me, calling me stupid and calling me names and everything. He was like, yo, like, but y'all ain't even talking to me. I haven't even told y'all, like, how, other than this, like, y'all are talking to everyone around me, basically about me and calling me names, labeling me certain things. And he was like, yo, so just keep doing that. I don't have to explain myself to y'all. And I understand he's a celebrity in the limelight, but take the vaccine out of the equation. I respected what he was saying, because that's so many times that's what the situation is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, like, that'd be my focus. Like, yo, if you can do your best to start at the source, and everyone claims to have some degree of intelligence and intellect, but yo, if you can do your best to start at the source, why would you start somewhere away from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand that. Like, it's just like when they started mandating vaccines, everybody jumped to what they couldn't do. You know, my first thought was, and that's why I started looking up the laws, the public health laws and the Supreme Court laws, because I was like, okay, I know everybody is going to say they can't do it, especially if you disagree with it. So I was like, yo, let me try to start somewhere where it's like, what makes them think they can even do it? And that's when I started looking up laws. I ain't look up political opinions. I ain't arguing whether you're going to take the vaccine or not.
Laws? I know you looked up the constitutional laws, but did you look up labor laws? See, right now,
yeah, I looked up equal opportunity laws, and they
were the first ones that gave the sign off on it. Like one of the first, the EEOC. They quickly.
Yeah, I looked up equal opportunity laws. I looked up New York State public health laws, and I looked up the constitutional law, and all of them was on the side of mandatory vaccination, which is why I was like, oh, they're going forward with this, whether I agree with it or not. You know, because they ain't really go around asking people their personal opinions, whether they agreed with it or not. So that lets us know they don't really care what our individual personal feelings is. But every law, regardless of how a person feels, and I'm not saying you're not right to want to challenge it. Laws are challenged all the time in court. What I'm saying is New York State public health law, New York State law that requires nurses in hospitals to have certain vaccinations, constitutional law that makes mandating vaccines constitutional and legal. Yo, they were not on the side. That's why they keep shooting these cases down. They just tried to file another thing the other day. Like, they give them a little reprieves depending on what they arguing. But honestly, none of them lawsuits, like I said before, actually argued the constitutionality of it. You know, and yo, the law, and I'm not saying you can't put together an argument that could sway the court to change their laws or thing, but the law just wasn't on their side as far as they can't do this. Like, it wasn't on their side. And even with medical and religious exemptions. Now, EEO laws talk about that, but it's not an automatic. You don't have, and this is what people confuse, you have the ability to request a medical or religious exemption. Medical one's normally going to be signed off by a doctor, so you could get granted that. Religious one is the one that people play around with, like, oh, my religious beliefs. That's the one where you're going to get a lot of the bullshit, just being honest. But they're not obligated. They're not. It's not 100%.
Right, Z. Let me jump in on this.
Yeah,
let me jump in because, like,
your point, I want to say something to what Steve wrote also, but I'm listening to you.
I was just gonna say, but that's like, again, all it comes down is the legal stuff, right? So the only deterrent, as with anything that you're gonna argue against or try to defend, is legally, and then it's either going to be something criminally done or something that somebody takes financial repercussions for. And what we're seeing now is that there's although a lot of companies that move forward with it, there's also a lot of companies that's backed up from it because they don't want the legal challenge of like, okay, we said we're going to deny you now of whether or not we fire you or whatever based on medical reasons or religious reasons. So now we need to define like why we stand by that in court. So we know it's not given, but all right, now we got to defend that, right? Now, what's the cost to us, right? So that's why it's still in that gray area. Because again, like in the US, yeah, everything's gonna come down to a legal situation. All right, so I now defend it in court. Now you ready for the expense of that? Is it gonna be you plus 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000? You know.
But which big corporations and companies that you see are really backing off of it?
Yeah, you got to come back to the center.
No, I'm saying you saying a lot of companies are backing off of it. I'm saying who do you see is backing off of it?
There's a lot of companies that haven't done it.
For instance, all right. So you just mentioned so there's the issue with
they talking in New York City. They talking about Verizon's getting ready to do it, and that's a private entity.
Right, exactly. So they're doing it, right? So
how did we get to that point?
Go ahead.
How did we get to that point? If I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden went on TV and he spoke about what needed to happen and what companies needed to do. But prior to that point, most companies weren't even moving like that. So if that's not a form of coercion, I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe
there's no doubt that they're trying to push for what they want.
Yeah, well, we can't doubt it because it's so obvious. And I'm glad that you honestly are seeing it and saying it for what it is. But
the thing that where people differentiate at is, what do you feel like? Some people feel they're pushing it for the health of the country. Some people feel they're pushing it for some type of unknown political agenda. Some people feel they're pushing it for financial gain. So it's not that obviously they're pushing the vaccine. Nobody can deny that. The difference is, why do you feel they're doing it?
I don't honestly care why they're pushing it, but when we're talking about legality, it was legal for us to be slaves.
Yeah, and that's why, exactly. And that's why legislation is important, which is why we didn't get no crime bill for George Floyd, because they understand the importance of legislation.
And when you spoke to the people being able to do what they got to do, all of these sublayers is what we're seeing. There's people right now in other countries right now that are in the streets because of the legality. They're like, no. And for me, just from a simple-minded perspective, okay, that information is redacted on what's in these shots. Unless something else has changed in the last 3 weeks, a lot of whatever's in these, it's redacted. That's right up on the FDA websites. I sent you guys the link from the FDA websites and the CDC. That wasn't from me. It was sent to me, and it shocked me. I was like, well, damn. Because it was just so in the open, like, yeah, we're not going to do this. And they might be doing it under the guise of trade secrets. They might be doing it under the guise of Coca-Cola has their little mixture, and we don't want the people to know. But ultimately, I would like to know, for this in particular, what is in it because of the speed in which it was developed. And if you're telling me you want me to get this to my child, okay, like for me, it's such a no-brainer. So it's one thing if you trust and believe, there's nothing wrong with that. It's another thing if you make a decision to do something like this in your own thinking. I don't see how it's right at all when you pressure people to do something when they are uncomfortable with it. Everybody keeps bringing it back to money. And if we're going to be honest about it, we already know how to sort of move and navigate in COVID times to lessen the risk. But the reason I asked to leave Steve's stuff up here a minute ago was because, no, go back to what Steve said, not that. He wrote this right here. Early when I was talking to Charles, and I was like, in the earlier days when people were getting the shot, I was like, pretty much, it was one of the things. And I said I didn't want to say it, but he wrote it. The vaccine helps us not to get it. And that's what they was pushing initially when they first came out with this shot. You get this COVID shot, guess what? I'm going to say a reduced risk. But I do remember the theme and the narrative being, you get this shot, you good to go. Like, you good to go. And then it changed. The narrative started to change once people started getting the shot and started getting sick. And they started having more and more breakout cases. And
I
then
don't remember them ever saying that though. You couldn't catch COVID.
Listen, man. Listen. The vaccine helps us not to get it. So what I'm trying to do right now, is say to you, for what I remember, that was the theme. He wrote it.
That it helps us not to get it. Not that we can't get it.
Well, no, Z, you can't say. Hold on. Let me say.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I think that's
remember, you got to remember.
Now.
All right, so if your marketing push is the efficacy of the vaccine was what 97%. So that's 97% of something is not helping anything. That's like saying, it's like, I'm gonna give you a guarantee. I'm gonna guarantee you I'm gonna give you a 99.
No, but it's not a guarantee. But no, that's how you're interpreting it. Because if you told me it was,
hold on. Let me go with this. Wait. Let me say this one thing. When you get Clorox, right, and they say, it cleans bacteria and everything, 99.99%, you can be like, if I use Clorox to clean off something, it's gonna kill the germs. You can't be like, nah, that's my interpretation of it. Like you understand.
I'm gonna feel for the most part that it's gonna do what it says it does because it's almost 100% effective.
Okay. Can
that's a long phrase.
No.
Yo, Mike, if they told you that 5% of people die from something, you would say that nobody could die from it because 95 won't die.
But see, the thing is, it never came out of my mouth because I never believed that the shot was going to stop COVID. It never came out of my mouth. I never believed when they designed it because my whole argument was for what they designed it for, they couldn't get it approved. For whatever it was that they was doing this
mRNA
medicine
for cancer.
It was not approved. So now it works.
No, it wasn't shown to be working. No.
Did it get approved
for cancer?
For whatever.
No, they was trying to develop it to help with cancer. The original, from what my understanding, and they wasn't able to cure cancer.
It was not FDA approved. Okay, so those are those little wormholes we don't have to go down. It was not FDA approved. But the point comes back to this. I never said ever that if you take the shot, it was a perfect shot. What I kept talking about was the theme that they were pushing to people, because I know people who believed it because they speak it. And the reason when he wrote it here, and Steve, listen, this is not a knock to you. I got family members that have had the same exact sentiment. I got the shot. I'm good. I'm not worried. I'm not going to get it. And they always go to the or. If I do get it, I got a reduced chance of dying. But by what I remember, and I would like to go back and have a reference point, because we're in those times now where it can't be what we feel. We got to be able to say, this is what was said. But my remembrance of those moments and times was that once they got this shot approved, or once people started taking this shot, not even approved, just under the emergency use management, it was going to reduce the spread of COVID. Reduce the spread of COVID. That's just how I remember.
That's what's being done.
But hear me out, though. But that wasn't the theme. Because what I'm saying is, if I come to a car lot and I come to buy a car, and you go, this is the car that we're going to sell you right here.
Said that hold on, wait a minute. You literally just said that the theme was that it would reduce COVID. You said that's what the theme was.
No. The theme that they was pushing initially was it was going to stop it. But I didn't want to say this. Your man voted.
I don't recall it that way.
But check it. It's okay. It's okay. Because I said I knew it wasn't going to happen that way anyway. So it doesn't matter how I see it or you see it. The bottom line was the themes that they were pushing was not accurate. And that's why early on I kept saying in a nice way, everything that they sort of said, it sort of changed. So you get one shot. Oh my gosh. Now you got to get two. Wait, you get two. Now you got to get the booster. Wait a minute. You get the booster. Now you might have to take the pill. Everything that they have been selling as far as this medicine, it has not panned out in the way that they said. Fine. But ultimately, if they were just keeping it 100 with people, like they apparently was initially, which I don't believe they ever were, maybe we wouldn't be having these dialogues and discussions. There's something that was wrong in the way that they worded things, the way that they sold things, the way that they pushed things out. It wasn't accurate.
I might be able to clarify something for you, Deb, and this may help Charles too. So even if you disagree with what he said before, one of the primary things was establishing herd immunity. right? That's something we all know that was talked about. So we
That was-
use the vaccine
You said
in order to reach
I
an
forgot about
optimum level, which was 75 to
Mhm.
80% herd immunity. So, and I looked into this. I through books I read and everything. One of the main issues with that whole argument, and even that being an instance, and why then I use the word narrative again, did change, and whether this be because it wasn't there, it really wasn't the agenda, or because it was part of the way it was caused in fast tracking it. There was no way to establish any methodology between the herd immunity for one of the primary things, and it's something that we all know, and it's something that we've seen in the news and seen reported, that there's no desire to track, record, or even find out the stats behind transmissibility with asymptomatic people, right? Nobody kept, no companies, whether it was through the case study, through the trial periods, or even current stuff, it wasn't monitored or tracked. Like it was essentially disregarded. So in order to follow up with herd immunity, they took out half of all the statistics behind it and only counted those that were unvaccinated. It was not relevant. So that's where then the focus became, okay, we'll still talk about herd immunity a little bit, but it's not the focus anymore. It's only on hospitalization and deaths attributed to it, because they weren't tracking that data. So how can that still be your narrative, right? You know, you'd have to openly say, all right, we're only going to track transmissibility between unvaccinated, but we have this other 50% or 40% that's transmit, but we're not going to check it. Like it doesn't work. So that's kind of why.
But how would you suggest tracking asymptomatic people who don't show no symptoms, don't think they were exposed to it? How? But how do you
the same way they're tracking the same way they're tracking
the job?
Huh?
Outside of you tracking people who are testing, right? Most people before there was job mandated testing,
right?
Because job mandated testing is more of a new thing. So I'm saying previously, especially the way people felt in the beginning stages of COVID, if I was asymptomatic, right? I wasn't showing no signs of COVID. I don't know myself to have been around anybody that tested positive for COVID. It's not a condition of my job.
I got a quick answer for you.
What would make an asymptomatic person go test?
You can just as if you mandated vaccines, which is a lot more like invasive to do this, like mandate testing, right? Plenty of schools and different private institutions and public.
No, Mike, you talking about an era before the kids was even in school. They was remote. You gonna mandate testing at their house?
Whatever point.
So
whatever
back
point
when that
time,
narrative.
But what I'm saying is,
back when that narrative, how would you have attracted? How would you have tested asymptomatic people?
It wasn't even tracked during the test to the trial periods, through the trial periods. So that was disregarded from the beginning.
I couldn't in the early stages of COVID, even to now. I can't see people who don't feel they've been exposed, who aren't mandated by their job, and who don't feel no symptoms. I can't see them just
but hear what I'm
walking in
saying. But hear
testing.
what I'm saying. Through the initial trial testing periods for Pfizer and Moderna, go back and look at the information. Like they did not list anything in the FDA information that was submitted for asymptomatic people. Like
I don't know. I think I saw that in those reports. I would have to go look again, kid. Because there's information about asymptomatic people in those reports.
My brother, I think it's a little sort of really like a wide angle to talk about a time period where it was a little bit more manic. And as people were getting...
But literally, that's what you're doing. You're talking about their initial narrative over a year ago. So you're talking about the same time period I am.
No. What I did was I showed you what Steve wrote to back up what I was trying to say. Initially, what I said was I did not want to say it. Remember that. So if
no, but you said that initially this was their theme. So you're talking about last year sometime.
The theme and the narrative.
Okay, when are you saying this narrative began then? Let me get that.
It was different conversations that was being had. I went to
so when are you talking about?
Time out.
What time frame are you talking about?
Time out. We've been dealing with this for 2 years, bro. This is 2 years.
So I'm saying, what point are you talking about, though?
The time period are you talking about?
For what part of the question? If we're gonna do that, we could do that. For what part of the
No,
question?
because you saying that I'm talking about when things were more manic. You sound like you're talking about the initial stages of the narrative, which is over a year or so ago.
If I'm not
So are
mistaken, I
we
was
talking
very
about the
clear.
same time frame?
I was very clear when I said the shot was in emergency use management.
Yes.
Didn't I say that? So that time period, you remember that? That's what I'm
So
talking about.
so you're starting from last year October when it got approved.
That was the time period in that particular moment in which I was talking about.
Y'all got me both confused now. I don't know what.
No,
I'm lost a little bit too.
But there's no confusion, really. I think the good thing is we having the dialogue. This is what people need to see. This is how we talk anyway. They're seeing how we. This is what we do, y'all. We talk and we talk and talk. And then Mike one day said, "Yo, let's go." And then we're here. So this is what everybody's seeing. They're seeing what they wouldn't see if we weren't live. But this is how
we go off the line. Well,
and then when we on the phone, we talk the same way. I mean, this is how it is. It's a lot of information to actually process. My belief, based on the people who I was talking to, and based on what I was seeing in the media at that time frame, was they were pushing this narrative that if you take this shot, you are going to be okay. Don't worry about it. I didn't say that the virus is going to go away. We didn't hear until later, from me, based on what I remember, that now it's not going to kill you. But initially it was like, yo, let's take the shot. And we're going to open everything by July 4th. And we're going to do, that was Biden. He was up there, we're going to do all of this stuff. And everybody, woo-ha, let's take the shot. And I remember this summer going to an event and everybody, some of them might be watching. We walked up with our masks. We were the only ones with masks on, 4 of us. Everybody else had their masks on. They was like, yo, we got our shot. And I was like, bro, you can still get COVID. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can still get COVID. And this was our first event out like that. And I'm like, yo, you can still get COVID. But the theme was, I got my shot. Like I'm good. And I'm like, okay.
But do you blame that on their comprehension of it? Or are you saying that they were told that?
On the fact that, Charles, listen, I went and studied psychology for like 4 years and got a little degree in it. When they talk about the mind, when they talk about things that could just be thrown up in there, when they talk about something that you hear over and over again, when they talk about these wide-angled narratives, the bottom line was they wanted people to take that shot. That's the bottom line. And then they went as far as when people weren't taking the shot, yo, we're going to have a lottery now. Oh, let's pay them. Well, let's do it. And everybody's like throwing these things. And, we started to see that something was going on.
I mean, but the reality is more people were taking the shot than weren't.
Say that again?
Because I said, but the reality is more people were taking the shot than wasn't because over half the country is vaccinated.
Yeah, but here's the deal. The very first
so is half the world.
The very first commercials I started seeing for the shot was all black people. Every single one of them. Black woman shot in the arms. All of these celebrities that started coming around, they were all black. And then somebody said to me, well, white people are taking it, Asian people are taking it, I'm saying that's fine. But what I'm seeing on the TV and what I'm seeing, this is from my personal COVID journal, just like you shared from your personal COVID journal. There's number blacks, African Americans, whatever. Take the shot, take the shot, take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. I was like, well, dang. And then I started seeing, oh, we're giving away $100 gift certificates, $25 gift certificates, $50. I'm like, wow. But to Mike's point about the herd immunity, which I'm glad he brought up because I completely forgot that. They talked about it. And are we there yet? Did we get to that number that they was looking for? I don't know if we did or not.
No,
70%, 68%. We didn't get 70, we didn't get there? I don't know, man. Listen, man. The only reason I even have these conversations is because we're on here right now. Now they are bullying you to take the shot, and you don't.
What? I mean, they don't gotta bully you, and
that is
you probably carrying your cell phone every day.
That is definitely bullying, man. If you're taking somebody's life,
no. I said the chip because read the whole thing. It said they're setting us up for the chip. If you're carrying a cell phone, I don't want to talk about the chip. If you got a cell phone, I can't listen to the chip argument. I don't know what that means. Not when you voluntarily carrying the world's greatest tracking device, which is your cell phone. I can't understand your concern about a chip.
I'll tell you what. Well, let me say this, and I'm not even playing devil's advocate, but I can put my cell phone down and throw it in a river. You got something in your body is with you unless you get rid of it. So come on, man. And let's also not act like chip technology.
Well, let's talk about the psychology you just talked about. How many people are throwing their cell phones in the river? How would they be able to post to Facebook? They ain't carrying their computer, so they're not throwing their cell phones in the river.
The car drove it up another mountain, dude. That ain't got nothing to do with what I said.
They're not throwing the cell phones in the river.
Come on, that ain't got nothing to do with it, bro. Like,
what's the throwing up? Wait, what the hell?
What?
What's the phone throwing in the river stuff? What is
That's
that?
my big bro, man. I'm gonna talk my stuff to my big bro, man. He talking his stuff.
I don't know what he's talking about. What chip is he talking about? They've been talking about the
know,
chip for years.
Do they not put chips in dogs and stuff to track them? Yes or no?
Ain't no question.
So if he says it, it's not like it's so foreign.
I didn't say it was foreign. I said, what chip are you talking about when you carrying the greatest chip that they ever invented, which was the cell phone? That chip in your cell phone is doing more to track you.
No, Z, you know what that is? I looked up on that too. So it started off with it's part of the it's actually a real thing, which is
again, I know with that. I understand that.
Yeah. So it's something that
so discredit the brother if there's something that
I discredit him. I said, listen.
He trying to make sure he come up with the proof instead of you providing this.
I'm saying, what chip are you talking about? Because you already carrying around the greatest chip right now.
No. Hold on. So I think he's referring to the chip that, let's see, let me doing my little bit of research. The one that's supported, partially funded, I guess, by the Gates Foundation.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's where we're going.
That they're using out. You got information on this?
No, because I
well, all right. So again, if this is true, an article I read, I don't know, video, whatever.
Come on, man.
Wait. What? You know what's happening? What? So the medical. We talked about this already.
Both of us combined on 2 days. He'll do 2 weeks of my research, Charles, and he knows about it, but he said he don't want to go there.
Oh.
Right. Well, then he's speaking on it. I'm saying what chip. I understand that Bill Gates funded thing. I've heard that too. I've heard about it with medical records. I've definitely heard about it.
So you've heard. So I think he's not talking about. So yeah, the phone chip, cell phone is tracking our web searches and whatever we
search tracking online. Your health, all type of information.
If that's what you're using for it, but yeah, if so the chip they're talking about in Africa that's being used there, they're talking about a chip that's taking. I guess that's taking your actual medical information that was likely not accessible on your cell phone, right? So which would be different. So it's almost like
almost sending it directly to your doctor.
Does that exist?
No, yes, 100%. I've heard about that.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's what they're talking about now.
All right, well, no. So Charles.
Hey, but you're not gonna say nothing about it. You heard about it, but that's it.
Yeah, like if you know, like how are you gonna hold it? How are you gonna do that?
Right, how you gonna hold it?
What? Because I don't think that it's being forced inside of you. But they were talking about chips that would track your medical information and be able to send that information like instantaneously to your doctor and stuff like that. But I don't understand, like, people acting like they don't trust science and medicine anyway. So I don't think that that's being forcibly injected into us. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
all right. So no, it's not being forcibly injected into us, but it's done. All right. So what I know of this quote unquote chip thing is that it's okay. So it's the same scenario is done in the same way a lot of other things have been done in the past to minorities, blacks, people without,
no, Steve.
On a poverty level or low, whatever. Like it's brought to you as though this is the thing that's gonna help your situation, and you have some foundation or something that's gonna use you again. It's kind of like a guinea pig. All right. So we're gonna solve a problem for you, and we're gonna use you as a testing ground for this. because we're not going to do it in an upscale community or whatever. We're going to go to this village out in the middle of Africa and just, use these people. But now, so the thing is, it wasn't necessarily that it sent
So it's a black chip, you saying?
Huh?
No,
So it's a black chip.
man. That sounds like Steve.
No. I'm saying the testing ground start there. When you put it in the middle of Africa, like, yeah, you can
he
go
knows that they do a lot of tests over there.
Wait. So what I'm saying is that, all right, so we find a use case for it now, right? So all right, we want to implement this technology. Where's the best place we go? All right, let's go find some little village out in the middle of Africa who got health problems, and now we're gonna become a lifesaver for them. Now again, I don't know a lot about this. I'm piecing the information together that I know.
But when you read about the chips and the testing,
right?
Because do I think they test in Africa? 100%. I'm not debating that.
Okay.
But I think that also we always say that that's only where they're testing.
No,
and when you read a lot of this stuff, it's being tested a lot of places.
That's not a relevant topic right there. So
why are you making if where they're testing it is not a relevant topic? Then why are you making the connection to Africa?
But wait, whoa, no, we're not gonna do that. You didn't even want to talk about the chip to even get to where they're testing. So come on, bro. Like you knew something that you didn't share. So if he's
wait. Oh, wait, Dev, I got you on this one. Dev, I got you on this one. Wait. Dev, I got you on this one. Charles, you know why that sounds crazy? I'm gonna tell you why it sounds crazy. Because if I'm presenting this to you, it's like, yo, this is a problem. They're doing this stuff to a black community out in Africa. They're using us as guinea pigs in order to test this. And I don't like it, right? Now, remember...
That would raise a red flag to me.
Wait, I'm saying the same thing, though.
Hold on, no. But then I would look to see if they're only doing it there, like people say.
Wait, stop there. Because that's very similar to the conversation with the girl, I forget her name. She was from wherever. She was from some other country. And she was from that New Rochelle page thing. And she said, hold on, we're talking about racism amongst blacks. Yo, racism happens in my culture. And you're like, wait a minute. It's happening in my culture.
Ain't no question. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If they told you you can go get the vaccine.
Wait. Don't go off that topic. Don't go off that topic. You gotta address that.
I'll stay on the same topic then. If I told you I'm testing the vaccine only in a poor village in Africa, that is gonna sway my mind in a different way than you telling me you're testing the vaccine in every part of the world, Europe, South America, Africa. Now, it might not do that to you. If you're only testing something, that's like telling me I can only get the vaccine from the black pharmacy in Harlem. I'm going to be very skeptical. But if I could get the vaccine in white communities also, I personally got the vaccine, and I'm going to keep it 100 with you. There was no black people in there. It was all white and Hispanic, right? Now, so what I'm saying, yes, if you tell me, I got this book called Better Call Apartheid about all type of experiments they've done solely to black people. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're telling me you're testing something solely on black people, solely in Africa, that raises a concern to me. But if you're testing the same thing throughout the world, it doesn't raise the same level of concern as if you're only doing it in Africa in poor villages. That's what I'm saying.
Hold that note because it's 10 o'clock and we were
I don't even know what to think about this until 9:30. This post that Stephen shared.
9:30. Now, are we allotting a few more minutes? What are we doing?
Go ahead. I'm out of here in 5 minutes. So I gotta get on the road.
Okay, so 2.5 more minutes of discussion, 2 minutes to shut down. No problem. And Charles, when you play this one back, you're gonna see, man, that you sort of.
Well, to address this thing real quick, I'll bring this down to 30 seconds. So the only information I saw on those medical chips were in poor community in Africa, and that was actually the point behind them, is because they said that the people didn't have accessibility to information to maintain their medical records. So it was maintained within a medical chip inside their body so that when they went to any other facility, they didn't need any information. All they need is like a scanner, and everything was with new information. Basically, their body was being used as a computer. So the new information was put on there, and the medical history is being taken off of it. So if they came in there with their body,
I heard everything you heard. I just didn't hear that it was exclusive to one specific poor areas of Africa.
Yeah, no, the purpose was because it was a good test case in order to use it because people were lacking stuff, you know what I'm saying, and the facilities. So it's like, okay, we could drop in a medical lab here under a tent. Anybody who comes in, we got their medical information. They leave out, we drop it in a tent. You know, a year from now, later on down the line, they still got the chip. So I mean, is that different than your cell phone? Yeah, man. I mean, you know, because then it's a matter of like what happens with the information. You know what I mean? So, you know, I can have phone information on my phone sent to my doctor, but you know, typically nowadays with all HIPAA rules, you know, if it's an app or if it's something, it's encrypted, it's sent directly to them. It's supposed to be semi-private. You know, it's supposed to be excluded outside of whoever can snoop in on your phone. You know, I sent you a video. I don't know if you saw it the other day. I didn't include.
Yeah, with the tracking history.
Yeah.
I just saw it today.
Huh?
Nah, I just watched it today.
Yeah. I sent. You know, not that anything. It's part of. I told Charles a while ago, I included this. I installed this VPN stuff on my computer, which virtual private network or whatever. It's something that kind of eliminates other things from tracking stuff all on your computer, like all the Google stuff and everything. But so there's one part of my antivirus and whatever else is kept on my computer. It blocks like the majority of all that stuff out. But if you look at it on the computer, I showed Charles a timeline. It was just like 5-10 minutes. It shows like 30-40 attempts of every different site that's in the background, just taking information from your computer. And so if you want, you can block that stuff. You can use Facebook and everything, and it'll block a majority of that stuff. If you care to do that, right? But you gotta dig into it a little bit. But
guys, we have to shut down. And thank you, Charles, for spending a little bit of extra time tonight, man.
Charles gave us a little extra time, man.
And thank you for definitely making the conversation. Made it go real heavy. So did Steve. Steve, by the way, I saw your joke, and I can't lie. I'm you're a funny guy. I'm gonna leave it at that. And much love to you guys. And we got to get up out of here because if we don't, Charles gonna be a little upset.
Hold on, let's wait.
At the end of the day, what? At the end of the day, kid. At the end of the day, we all got different opinions. Everybody, we're not 100% the same. But at the end of the day, kid, and this is for especially Black people. No matter what, man, we just got to protect ourselves against viruses, society, each other in a lot of occasions. But at the end of the day, kid, you should be able to have these discussions. We don't agree all the time. Boom, boom. It's a lot of back and forth. But at the end of the day, it's all love, regardless of anybody's choices, whether they're going to do it. I don't think nobody's a villain. I'm not telling people don't talk to me and stay away from me because they're not vaccinated and all of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Nah, because at the end of the day, I'm saying because your personal choice to do that or not do that, kid, isn't the basis of my relationship with you. You know what I'm saying? Like Dev does not have to agree with me in everything I think and feel in order for us to be friends. I don't need that from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need the opposition in certain things because, like I said, Dev sent me some medical stuff about the vaccine that changed my mind about something as it relates to kids. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, and I started looking into it more. So I'm always open for that, kid. I'm just saying, but that's the cool thing that you don't always see. Yeah, like we don't always have to agree or whatever. We go, everybody gets passionate, everybody whatever. But at the end of the day, kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm gonna always wish the best for y'all, everybody's health, and I come and chill in North Carolina with Dad, whether he vaccinated or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't the villain to me. Y'all ain't villains and all of that type of nonsense, man. You know what I'm saying?
That means a lot to me, man, because I've been the villain for so long with so many, man.
Man,
at the end of the day, I'm like, am I the villain when I'm feeding homeless people? You see my point? I'm like, am I the villain when I'm getting people into school? You know what I mean? Like, am I the villain when I'm doing charitable things with people? People got short memories. But I also want to say this. I don't let you go off the hook in particular, Charles, because you remind me so much of some of the brothers I went to school with that read more books than any of us. And then sometimes they hold that little chess move, and you like, yo, I think he knows. But how do you get it out of him? So
I'm asking a little questions here, and he know the answer to it. Like, what about
and he'll know
which thing was it? Like, which?
Dude, I know
what you're talking about.
The stuff you sent me that time, I had to hit you like, bro, I can't even keep up. I was like, yo, this is too much. I was like, yo, I'm out of my league. I'm not in my master's yet. Let me finish my undergrad before I get up here.
Yo, wait, before we cut anything off, wait, what we doing this next week?
Well, y'all tell us.
Wednesday.
And we'll have some topics. We'll have some topics.
Yeah.
Maybe we can invite some people on, like homie that wanted to come, maybe Steve.
Oh yeah, my man, Denaro was trying to join in, but he had a little technical issue.
If you want to join in, hit us up. Hit any of us up. We got the little email. Y'all don't be using it. They don't be using it.
Oh wait, I know it's bothering me. Before we get off, I think I sent a message to y'all. Yo, why everybody like a little sick these days? Like, well, y'all told you I was going around everywhere, everybody catch like sniffling. Like, you ain't seen nobody sick for like, unless you had COVID for like the past year. And people like sneezing, coughing, like.
But I think that was in the house, and I responded to that. I told you that. Forget sickness for a minute. Like, I met people that as they're starting to come back out and the world is opening up, like, because keep it real, the world is opening up, that they was like, yo, this is the first time they recognizing their allergies are bothering them in like a year, 2 years, man.
Yo, I'm thinking this. I hate to put the seed there, but I'm wondering if it's vaccines because yo, man, you see nobody sick, and all of a sudden I was in
conversation.
People like sneezing and blowing it. Yo, I'm like, yo, why are they sending them to school? Like, what the hell? Like,
well, I mean, if you talking about kids been doing that for years, coming to school sick.
Nah, I'm not talking about 5-year-olds. I'm talking about college. Like, I'm talking people in the store. Like, I don't.
But it's also this time of the year coming too. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
That's a whole nother discussion.
I went straight through the winter last year. I ain't seen all of this sniffling.
Yeah, but last winter, the vaccines just started rolling out. Like in January, by February, March, most of the people still wasn't vaccinated. Look, did you see it over the summer? You saw people was getting vaccinated over the summer.
The whole past year, I could say I probably just seen a couple people with a little sniffle, a little cough here and there. Ain't seen nobody. Yo, the last 2 weeks, I seen like dumb people like sniffling, sneezing.
Well, how many percentage of the people do you think got vaccinated in the last 2 weeks?
Don't do it. Y'all here coming.
Oh, a lot, man.
I mean, because if you saying the sniffles are caused by the vaccine, so how many people you think got vaccinated? Hold on. Now, especially college kids that may have been mandated before they could even start school. Okay, exactly. But they started that in August, kid. They start college back in August. So they got a delayed sniffle effect in October.
Yep. Yo, I don't know.
It's possible.
It might be.
I'm gonna leave it at this. It's possible.
That's what I'm saying. What's the percentage?
And I don't want to have the last word.
It's 100% possibility.
Let that get the last word, though.
Wait. The probability. Wait. Let me say this last thing. thing. The probability might be low, but the possibility is 100%.
The possibility is always unlimited, kid. I got the vaccine in March. I might start sniffling next week. Who knows? If I start sniffling, you're gonna be the first person I call.
I'll be like, Mike, on the phone. We ain't gonna be around you.
Yo, I got a 9-month delay in the sniffles, kid, but they hit.
You're probably gonna go for the booster.
A lot of people said this is the healthiest they felt in a long time, but it makes sense.
Yeah, because
I
I
mean,
think people are focused on that health.
Huh?
Not definitely. No, but that goes to your point, like that you always say, like, yo, because now, like you like you inform me about a lot of like herbal type, natural remedy stuff, that I really wasn't hip to, keeping it real. And but like you've always stressed that, like even before we was really getting on this, about like doing things to keep yourself healthy and stuff, mentally and physically. And I think that hopefully if something good comes out of this, whether it's vaccine, whether you get the vaccine or not, because I don't think that should be a determinant thing. One thing I do hope that something good come out that is that we actually do become more habit forming with cleanliness, with protecting our health and understanding how valuable that is, especially as we all are getting older. Definitely.
Well said, bro. Listen, it's 10:12, man. And
all right, fellas, I got to go. I got 45 minutes. I got 45 minutes to get there.
Hey, man. Much love and respect, man. See y'all next
45 minutes on a 50-minute journey.
Wednesday at 8:30. Wednesday at 8:30.
Let's get our outro music. Outro.